Shalom. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem HaKakodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. And shalom and salutations to all the brothers that pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. All right, I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the World War III Daily Update. I'm going to keep it quick, to the point. All right. Jeremiah 51 and 11. Make bright the arrows. The arrows are talking about the nuclear warheads, or the ICBMs for that matter. Gather the shields. You heard of missile shields, right? The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. Who's the kings of the Medes? One of them, his name is Vladimir Putin on down, okay? For his device is against Babylon to destroy it. Whose device? The Lord's device. The Lord hath raised up Vladimir Putin. Vladimir is mad right now, okay? What is he doing? Because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple, all right? Leviticus 26 and 25. This did pertain to Israel, now it pertains to the other nations. And I will bring a sword. What is a sword? Okay? The glittering sword. It's the nuclear bombs. I will bring a sword against you to execute the vengeance of the covenant. Though you withdraw into your cities, I will send a plague. What plague? Among you, and you will be delivered into the hand of the enemy. Isaiah 13:17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes. Who are the Medes? The Russians, who have no regard for silver and no desire for gold. All right? Let's get Zechariah real quick. On this, what is it? The sword. I will send what? A plague. Let's look at that plague. Zechariah 14. King James. And 4. Salaki and 12. This shall be the what? Plague, wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Nuclear fire. Okay? All right? That's what that is. All right, so with that, well, let's get the Smith. I have created the Smith. Where's that at? Ezekiel, what is it? Ezekiel 35? Isaiah 54 and 16. Behold, I've created the smith, blacksmith, that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. What is that? Those nuclear bombs. All right? The smith is the scientist who Oppenheimer in them. Okay? Now, let's go to Deep Journal channel. 3 hours ago, breaking. Russia makes Iran's nuclear warhead. Uranium in Russia shocked to Israel and U.S. Let's watch this.
No one believed it.
And we all knew. See, when you say that Iran doesn't have nukes, of course they do. Russia does. All right, so let's watch this.
Dear listeners, welcome to the Deep Journal channel. By subscribing to our channel, you can be informed about detailed reports every time. In the shadow of the Vienna talks, The Middle East seems to serve a new nuclear deal that contains serious, dangerous, and sinister games. Iran's nuclear deal talks with the United States in Vienna drew certain conclusions at the summit on Thursday. Putin, who has been silent until now, made the Middle East move through Israel, Iran, and the USA when the course of the agreement reached the desired consistency. Russia intervened in the negotiations, which had come to a dead end recently, and suggested certain ways out. Iran's nuclear activity, a problem that the Middle East has not been able to get out of for a long time, seems to have been resolved to a certain extent. High-level envoys from Moscow and Washington intervened in the negotiations in Vienna, which were inadequate to thwart Tehran's uranium work, and came together to try to find a common way out. The most critical outcome of the talks was that Russia aspires to Iran's surplus uranium. In this case, Russia is using itself as a buffer for the terms of the nuclear deal between Iran and the US, and by buying Iran's excess uranium, in a sneaky offer, it promises to help develop isotopes in so-called medicine, agriculture, and other environmental fields.
You see what's going on there? The Russians are about to take that uranium and make Iran some bombs, some nukes.
This led to different interpretations in different regions. Some experts claim that since 2019, Russia has seriously aided Iran's nuclear work, and that it has done so to seize fully enriched uranium or to use it to increase Iran-induced chaos in the Middle East.
See what's going on?
Likewise, the moments when the Russian official said, Iran can't produce nuclear warheads for now, so what created a shock effect. And this brought to mind what if Russia combined the rich uranium in Iran and gave Iran nuclear warhead technology?
There it is.
According to some experts, with this move of Russia, Iran's efforts to increase the uranium rate will come to an end. While talking about optimistic and pessimistic scenarios, the first question that comes to mind will be what Russia will do with the nuclear it took from Iran. Even though Iran is a country that draws attention with its extreme movements in the Middle East, it has been seen how daring Russia can be in the war in Eastern Europe. Still, Russia's move seems to have been welcomed. With the intervention of Russia, certain steps were taken and Iran started to approach the negotiations more moderately, relying on its close ally. It is clear that this issue will be discussed in the meeting between President Biden and Russian President Putin on Thursday next week. Even though the statements made by Mikhail Ulyanov are a comforting statement by many, the fact that Iran cannot produce nuclear warheads now does not mean that it will not be able to produce them in the future.
Ta-da. All right. As though Russia's arsenal can't be distributed to its allies.
What if Iran has important nuclear material? Expressing this, Russia approached exactly the point that Israel has been talking about for years, with a brazen attitude. For the last 2 months, Israel has been sabotaging Iran's nuclear research centers, and serious research is being carried out in these centers. It should also not be forgotten that Iran may suddenly have a very strong weapon threat at the point where it will reach the production technology of nuclear weapons.
Let the weak say that I am strong.
These days, when tensions between Israel and Russia originating from Iran and Syria are at their highest level, Russia has started to advance in the Middle East chess through Iran. Now let's examine the details of Russia and US moves on nuclear negotiation with stunning details. Russia and US stated that working together in bid to salvage Iran nuclear talks. Top US and Russian officials for Iran have met in Vienna, Russia's envoy to the nuclear talks said on Wednesday, and delegates on both sides said Moscow and Washington were coordinating in a bid to salvage the 2015 Iran nuclear deal.
All rumors of war, all threats. Okay? All jockeying for this is chess. All right? And it's going to speed up tomorrow. And we're going to see this whole thing come down like a house of cards.
Russia's Mikhail Ulyanov wrote on Twitter that he had met the U.S. Special Envoy to Iran, Robert Malley. Close consultations and coordination between the Russian and the U.S. delegations in the course of the Vienna talks constitute an important prerequisite for progress towards restoration of the JCPOA, he wrote, referring to the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. The latest round of indirect talks between Iran and the United States resumed on Monday in Vienna, with Tehran focused on getting U.S. sanctions lifted again, despite scant progress on reining in Iran's atomic activities. U.S. President Joe Biden and Russian President Vladimir Putin were likely to discuss the Iran nuclear talks on Thursday, a senior Biden administration official said, when they are due to have a virtual meeting. I do believe that they're, Biden and Putin, likely to discuss it, Iran, again tomorrow, given that we have ongoing talks in Vienna now in the U.S. Our European partners and the Russians have been coordinating quite closely in Vienna, working quite constructively together in Vienna, the U.S. official said.
Okay, that's enough. If you want to watch that, go to a Deep Journal. Breaking news: Russia makes Iran's nuclear warhead. Uranium in Russia, shock to Israel and U.S. All right, so where do we go directly for this? Go to Joel. We'll just get a couple of precepts and go ahead and close it out. You see what's going on. This thing is building up. It's not about the go away, the peace talks, whatever. All right, so start right here at 9, Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. This is what they're doing right now. All the weapons and building weapons and da-da-da-da. Beat your plowshares into swords. A plowshare is a gardening tool. And your pruning hooks, gardening tool, into spears, weapon. Let the weak, Iran, say, I am strong. Iran supposedly doesn't have nukes. What did we just watch? Now, Iran is strong. All right? Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. So the Most High is gathering all the nations down into the valley of Jehoshaphat so he can destroy them. What do you mean the nations? I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's what we see. They're building up their war regime, right? So ultimately, the Most High is going to destroy, right here, thither, all right, assemble yourselves, come all ye heathen, gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause their mighty ones to come down. This is the ambush where the chariots of the Lord, right, perform the ambush and take down all of the armies. And the only thing that these nations are going to have left is their nuclear football, right? And so they're going to launch those nukes at each other. Mutually assured destruction. The acronym MAD, M-A-D, right? So let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at this. These things. Let me get a big one here. This, what role do these things play? Well, they're fighting for the children of Israel. First, they're going to destroy the armies of the world. Then they're going to save what it means to be saved, the children of Israel, right before the nuclear option is played. And here's the saving. This is Revelation 11 and 12. And they heard a great voice. Who is they? The children of Israel, the 1/3, the elect that are going to be saved. Here's the saving. They heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. Come up where? Up hither. Okay, you're going to get beamed up from the ground onto the chariot just before the destruction. And they, who's they? The elect of Israel, the 1/3, 144. And they ascended up into heaven in a cloud. Where's the cloud? That's the cloud. Right? Jesus is coming back in the clouds of heaven. That's the cloud. And their enemies beheld them. Right? They're going to be astonished. Right? And here's the destruction when the missiles hit. Here's the saving. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. And their enemies beheld them. And the same hour was there a great earthquake. That's the missiles hit. And the 10th part of the city, all 10 FEMA regions in North America, fell. Those nukes totally destroyed Northern America. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. 7 means completion, a complete number, meaning everybody that wasn't beamed up, that wasn't saved, that didn't ascend up to heaven in that chariot, swing low. You were slain. What does that mean? What does it mean to be slain? That means that I'll get it one more time. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. And the remnant, who's the remnant? The elect of Israel that got beamed up. They ascended up to heaven in a cloud. The remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the power of heaven. How are they slain? Let's go back to Zechariah. Here's how they were slain. Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague, those nuclear missiles, wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Here's how they were slain. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. All right? So that would complete the World War III Daily Update. You see this war is coming, and we're prophesying the end and what's going to happen. So we hope the elect were edified, and with that, we're going to say shalom.